When was the last time you sat alone and thought to yourself? In today's society, almost everyone fills every gap, void or pause with an interaction with their phone. So are we all consumed by smartphone addiction? Or what exactly is going on here? Introducing dopamine. Dopamine is a chemical produced by the brain that functions as both a hormone and neurotransmitter, which means it sends signals between the body and the brain. Often labelled as the chemical of pleasure, studies have found it plays a greater role in motivational salience, a cognitive process that via dopamine signalling gives us impetus to act on rewarding stimuli. Or more simply, in an evolutionary context, it motivates us by rewarding beneficial behaviours and encourages us to repeat them. It plays an important role in decision-making, motor control, learning, motivation, arousal, reinforcement, habit forming and addiction. Food, exercise, sex, these are all vital activities for human existence, and dopamine plays a role in incentivizing us to seek them out. And importantly for the topic of this video, dopamine also incentivizes and rewards social interaction. However, as humans have evolved, our dopamine release mechanism hasn't developed the understanding of when dopamine should and shouldn't be released. For example, when you get a like on Instagram, a message, or even a notification from an app on your phone. Furthermore, as dopamine plays a role in our reward system, the neural pathways through which it is released become stronger when frequently activated, incentivizing us to seek the reward again and again. So smartphones and social media exploit this neurological reward mechanism, which results in the overindulgence with which we are all familiar.
There's another angle to this as well. Humans hate being bored. In 2014, a study was run by the University of Virginia where people were left in a room alone without any distractions except an electrical shocking device. Quite astonishingly, 67% of men and 25% of women gave themselves painful electric shocks, despite beforehand explicitly stating they would pay money to avoid being shocked. When alone with an electrocution device, many people, especially men, struggle not to shock themselves. So why is this? Boredom can loosely be defined as a transient state of disinterest or disengagement. We've all suffered from it. Whilst the study wasn't able to determine exactly why we struggle to be alone with our thoughts, it clearly found that people preferred external stimuli, even if painful, as opposed to sitting alone. Interestingly, the same results were observed amongst older participants of ages up to 77, who are undoubtedly less prone to constant smartphone use. And whilst boredom can be, boring, as with most emotional states, it does serve an evolutionary purpose. Let's consider a story about Caveman Dave. He already went out hunting, so he has his food. He's in his cave, so he has shelter. He's a caveman, so he has some clubs to protect himself. So all in all, he's in a pretty good spot. He settles down for the night and gets unbelievably bored. After a long time of wondering what to do, he starts banging some rocks together, which strangely start sparking. He points the sparks at some dry kindling on the floor, and suddenly Dave discovers fire. So in fact, boredom can lead us to new ideas or new solutions to problems. Now, it's quite possible in that scenario that Dave would have burnt himself to death. And the point isn't that smartphone usage reduces the likelihood of innovation. Rather that we are using smartphones almost incessantly to tackle even the briefest spell of boredom. Whether you're on the toilet, at work, with your friends or family, or even if you're on a date, we are all guilty of it. The third crucial element in this recent phenomena is that the prominent business model of social media companies has led to an arms race for people's time and attention, leading to interfaces designed to addict. As most platforms are free and earn revenue from ads, it's vital that users spend time on their platform compared to alternatives. One way this is implemented in the user experience is by using what's referred to as variable reward schedules. Attributed to psychologist B.F. Skinner, it was discovered from testing on mice, which found that they responded most frequently where the reward was distributed with some randomness. The test implemented a treat lever, which when pressed by the mouse would administer either a small treat, a large treat, or nothing. Unlike the mice who received the same reward each time they pressed the lever, the study group that contained the mice that had a variable reward schedule pressed the lever compulsively. Think about a slot machine or roulette table where you always win. After some time, you'd disengage. It wouldn't be exciting. This exact premise is built into a huge plethora of games, from roulette to Candy Crush, as well as social media feeds. Tristan Harris, an ex-Google product manager who vocally called out Silicon Valley tech firms for brain hacking, said, "Instagram's notification algorithm will sometimes withhold likes on your photos to deliver them in larger bursts. So when you make your post, you may be disappointed to find less responses than you expected, only to receive them in a larger bunch later on." This describes a variable reward schedule built into Instagram's algorithm, explaining in part the emotional dependency we can have on these platforms and why receiving a like or a comment can be so exciting. So in summary, we can see that there are at least three powerful forces at play here. Firstly, our brains incentivize us to check our phones and social media to seek out the reward from social interaction. Secondly, humans actively avoid boredom, and smartphones are an incredibly accessible solution to even the slightest threat of it. Thirdly, social media applications are carefully designed to extract as much time as possible from their users and to keep them engaged. So what can we do about it? As with any change you make, the most important factor is adherence. So here are two incredibly simple habits that you can actually stick to. Whilst they might not be life-changing, they'll help you re-establish some control over your phone. So first of all, turn your phone off occasionally. Whether it's in the morning when you're focusing on work or studying, or in the evening after you get home, turning off your phone will help break the cognitive dependency and will introduce just enough friction to stop you checking it every few minutes. Number 2, delete Instagram and Facebook apps from your phone. In a similar vein, this introduces just enough friction to stop you clicking on the app at the first sign of boredom. You can still check your accounts in the browser, but you'll find by just having to click on the browser icon that you question your behavior and do it less. Now these are two really easy habits that you can start today. In the description, you can find links to articles that I referenced in this video. And as this is a new channel, if you enjoyed it and would like to see more, please like and subscribe.